Materials used. Materials used will be metal, ceramics, and polymers and others. In metals, we have stainless steel, cobalt, chromium alloys, molybdenum alloys, titanium and its alloys, surface coated titanium, which is widely used these days. Then we have ceramics, in which we'll have hydroxyapatites, bioglass, aluminum oxide. In polymers, and we have composites, and in others, we have gold and tantalum carbon. Now, moving on to the titanium. Titanium, commercially, pure titanium is currently used for making most of the implants. Then it is a material of choice because it has low density and a very high strength. It has minimal biocorrosion due to its passivating effect, and it has excellent biocompatibility. Titanium, it has good stiffness but only half of stainless steel, that is 5 to 10 times higher than the bone. Titanium alloys are made of 6% weight of aluminium and 4% weight of vanadium. Then we have surface coated titaniums, which are now widely used. These are coated with a thin layer of tricalcium phosphate or an hydroxyapatite, usually by the technique of plasma spraying. These materials are bioactive, that is, they will cause osteoconductive and osteoinductive effect, that is, they will promote the bone growth and bonding to the bone. Then we have ceramics. Ceramics might be bioinert or might be bioactive. Then their application is very limited because they have low tensile strength and ductility, and they're primarily used as surface coats over the titanium implants. Then we have a list of bioactive and bioinert. Then stainless steel. This is 18. This is also called as 18-8 or authentic steel. It has higher strength and very high ductility. But however, it is not widely used because in some patients they are sensitive to nickel, and it is more susceptible to corrosion in the pit and cervix crevice regions due to its passivating layer should be preserved. And direct contact with dissimilar metal crowns in the layer also avoids and can be prevented by galvanization. Then polymers and composites. These are fabricated in porous and solid forms for tissue attachment and replacement augmentation. Other materials are like gold, palladium, tantalum, platinum alloys. Carbon compounds are also oftenly now used for root replacement. Now coming on to what is an implant and what are the parts of implant. So basic implant design, it will have two parts. First is the fixture and second is the abutment. Coming on to here, the fixture is the bottom part and the abutment is this interface upon the collar, correct. Then some of the implants, they might be one piece or they might be two piece. So in one piece, the implant and the abutment, the abutment is what supports the crown and the fixture is what is embedded in the bone, so they will be joined together in one piece, and in two piece they'll be different. So in implant fixture, the most favored form is cylindrical screw or the tapered screw. It is inserted through a surgical procedure, then the abutment is screwed onto the implant. It includes it might also have some accessory components like drills, healing caps, impression copings, implant analogs, laboratory accessories, etc. Then implant abutment is a portion of the dental implant that serves or supports or any retains any fixed or removable dental prosthesis. Classification of implant abutment is based on three categories. According to the fabrication processes, stock abutment. Stock abutment is usually also called as direct abutment. That is, it comes with scalloped margins and it improves the marginal aesthetics. Then we have custom, which is very flexible and is useful in aesthetic. CAD and CAM. CAD and CAM can be read from the dental ceramic chapter. Then on the material used, titanium, zirconia, gold and aesthetic. Titanium is the material of choice. However, in some individuals who have titanium allergy, we prefer zirconia. Zirconia is preferred because it has good aesthetic properties as well and has the same amount of strength. Then according to angulation, that is, one will be angled and one will be non-angled. The angled is mainly used in upper anterior central incisors, that is, it is used to correct the implant crown alignment. This is the parts depicted. Then we have equipments. What are the equipments which are used? We'll use an implant motor which will give us the torque, and it has the foot control and the saline stand. It has low speed and high torque so that implant drilling can be done properly. Then we have implant drills. In this we use pilot drills. This guides towards the direction of the subsequent drilling and implant placement. It is usually made up of stainless steel. Then we have cover screw. Yes, cover screw, the implant surgery which is usually done in two stages, the first stage and the second stage. In the first stage, the implant is inserted into the bone and left to integrate for a period of 2 months. Then after the implant is placed, we place a cover screw which is used to cover the coronal end of the abutment. Then this cover screw will prevent any bone ingrowth and keeps the abutment chamber of the patient while the implant is getting integrated. Then we attach a healing abutment. Healing abutment is placed usually after 2 to 3 months, that is in the second stage. The cover screw which was buried in the implant is now exposed. It is removed and the healing abutment is placed, which exposes the implant to the oral cavity. It prepares enough space for future abutment. So what are the functions of abutment? Healing abutment, it might be cylindrical or of an anatomic design. It allows the pulpal tissue, the punched out tissue, to heal. It promotes development of sulcus epithelium. It helps to develop papilla, marginal gingiva, improving the soft tissue aesthetics. Here is an healing abutment. This is a depiction of the two stages, one stage and the two stage. Cover screw, then we are adding healing abutment, then final restoration. It has a duration of 2 to 3 months difference in them. Then it also helps to develop a proper emergence profile from the implant platform to the crown, thus improving the restoration aesthetics. Now, how is an implant abutment connection done? It is usually done through a screw and during the occlusal function, so that the considerable stress can be transferred from the screw. Thus, it will prevent any loosening or fracture to occur. Function, it determines the joint strength, stability, lateral and rotational stability. It decreases the stress on the abutment screw. Types, it is of two types. The connection can be done in two types, external and internal. External is the original one, which usually is done in fully edentulous arches. In the internal, the implants were designed initially, they had a 1.7 mm deep hex which was below a 0.5 mm 45-degree bevel. Now they used to distribute the intraoral forces deeper within the implant to protect the retention screw from excess loading and used to decrease the micro leakage. It provides a superior strength than the external hex. Then we have another Morse taper. This is a tapered abutment which is inserted into a non-threaded shaft of the dental implant with the same taper. Now these are the examples. Then platform switching, it is used to preserve the alveolar bone levels around the dental implant. This concept refers to the placing of the abutment in a narrower diameter on implant of a wider diameter rather than placing on the same diameters. Then we have the phenomenon of biointegration and